Hi everyone, I'm Robert. I'm a first year graduate student here at Cornell studying biomedical engineering.
Hi everyone, I'm Justine. I'm a first year undergraduate student studying biomedical engineering at Cornell.
Today we're going to teach you a little bit about mechanical engineering by having you build a cotton ball catapult. To give you a brief overview, you're first going to learn about potential energy, kinetic energy, and fulcrums. Then you're going to build a cotton ball catapult, and then you're going to test how changing the force you apply to the catapult, the fulcrum position, and the material you choose affects how far the cotton ball travels.
Today we're going to be talking about catapults. Did you know that catapults were invented in 400 BCE? That was 2,420 years ago. They were invented by the Greek Dionysius the Elder of Syracuse. What is energy? Energy is the ability to do work. And what does that mean? Energy is the ability to make something move or change in some way. There are many different types of energy, such as potential energy, kinetic energy, thermal energy, mechanical energy, and many more. But today we will be focusing on potential and kinetic energy.
Potential energy is the energy an object has due to its position. Potential energy can be divided into two categories: gravitational potential energy and elastic potential energy. For gravitational potential energy, the higher an object is from the ground, the more gravitational potential energy it has. For elastic potential energy, the more an elastic object is stretched or bent, the more elastic potential energy it has. An example of gravitational potential energy can be seen in a bouncy ball. The higher you hold the bouncy ball above the ground, the more gravitational potential energy it has. And you can see this by when you release the bouncy ball, it will bounce more the higher you held it from the ground before you released it. And for elastic potential energy, an example is a rubber band. The more you stretch the rubber band, the more elastic potential energy it has. And you can see this by the more you stretch it, the farther it'll fly once you release it.
Kinetic energy is the energy an object has due to its motion. The faster an object is moving, the more kinetic energy it has. The heavier an object is, the more kinetic energy it has as well. If two objects collide, one object's kinetic energy can even be transferred to the other.
A fulcrum is the point where a lever rotates, like the middle of a seesaw. The placement of the fulcrum can affect how much force is transferred by the lever. On a normal seesaw, the fulcrum is placed right in the middle of the lever. However, if the fulcrum was moved, you might find it harder or easier to lift the people on the other side of the seesaw.
Potential energy converts to kinetic energy, and it may depend on the fulcrum. When an object goes from rest to moving, potential energy is converted to kinetic energy. When converted, potential energy equals kinetic energy. Catapults work by building up and storing potential energy in the popsicle stick as the lever is pulled back, and once you let go and the lever swings forward, the energy is converted to kinetic energy. Depending on where you put the fulcrum of the catapult, it may allow the catapult to gain more or less potential energy. The more potential energy you have, the more kinetic energy you will have. Here you can see the conversion from potential to kinetic energy. The amount of potential energy an object has while at rest is equal to the amount of kinetic energy an object has once it's in motion.
Now it's time for you to build your own cotton ball catapult. In the next video, we will give you instructions on how to build a catapult out of popsicle sticks, rubber bands, and a bottle cap so that you can learn more about potential energy, kinetic energy, and fulcrums. The materials that you'll need are 10 popsicle sticks, either large or regular sized, 3 rubber bands, 1 bottle cap, 1 cotton ball, glue stick or liquid glue, 1 ruler, and 1 plastic spoon, which is optional.
So we will be building a catapult out of popsicle sticks, rubber bands, and cotton balls to try and teach you a little bit about potential energy and kinetic energy and how potential energy can become kinetic energy. And so we will be using about 10 popsicle sticks, 3 rubber bands, 1 cotton ball, 1 bottle cap, and you'll also need some glue.
Alright, so the first step is you're going to take 8 popsicle sticks. You're going to line them up all together like this. And then you're going to take 1 rubber band and put it around one side. Doesn't have to be super tight, just enough to keep them together. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just near the end, loop it around. Just like this, and this is going to be your base.
So next, you're going to take another popsicle stick and separate the 8 that you have here until you can put this popsicle stick in between the bottom two. And you're just gonna put it through like that, and you should have one popsicle stick in between the bottom two of your base. And this base will also be the fulcrum for the catapult.
Alright, so next we're gonna make the lever. So it's gonna eventually go on like this, but we need to glue on the bottle cap first. So this will be where the cotton ball will attach onto. So a glue stick works fine. You're just gonna glue the top here, and then put some on the back of the bottle cap. The bottle cap can be any size, and then just attach this onto here. Hold it for a second. That should be good. So now, you're gonna put it like this. Take one rubber band and hold on here. And just do the same thing, just loop it around. You want it pretty tight, but that should be good. And you want the base just right here at the bottom.
So now you have your completed catapult and it's ready for your cotton ball. But before you launch anything, please make sure you're in an open area and please don't aim the catapult at anyone around you. But you can just put the cotton ball in the bottle cap. You can hold on to the base, give it a little bit more support, but you can just pull down the popsicle stick at the end and release.
Alright, so as you just saw, the cotton ball can travel pretty far, and that's due to energy. So as you pull back on the catapult, you're building up this elastic potential energy, and when you let go, that energy is converted to kinetic energy because it's moving, and the cotton ball is then projected forward.
So now that you have your catapult, you can make adjustments to see what makes the cotton ball fly the farthest. So for example, you could change how far you pull down the popsicle stick, how much force you apply to the end. You can do it just a little bit, or you can try and do it a lot, and see how that changes how far the cotton ball travels. And so I recommend taking a ruler and doing these different forces and measuring out how far the cotton ball travels after each one. And besides changing the force at the end, you can also change the fulcrum position. So this base is the fulcrum where the lever bends around. And so here it's very far down towards the end, but you can shift it up and repeat and try and see how that changes how far the cotton ball travels. So again, take a ruler and make these changes. Change where the fulcrum is. Try and fling the cotton ball, and take a ruler and measure how that distance changes.
So another thing you can do to change your catapult is, instead of having a popsicle stick here, you can try replacing it with a plastic spoon. So you attach it the exact same way as before, just with the rubber band right here at the end. And then you're going to try the same thing, pulling down and releasing. I'll let you guys see how far the cotton ball can travel. So when you guys test out the spoon, let me know if it goes further or if it goes shorter, and let me know why you think that is. Because you can see the bend is different, so it's going to affect the potential and kinetic energy. Another fun addition to this activity is trying to set up targets. You can make them high, low, across the room. You can put a popsicle stick in front of you and see, alright, can I get it past this line? Oh, not quite. So you can adjust your targets. You can move them around. You can also see how high you can get it to go up. And then let us know what you were able to do with your targets.
So for the demonstration, we use these giant popsicle sticks, and they work great. But if you don't have these big ones, you can also use just regular sized popsicle sticks, and they work great too. We hope you enjoyed the activity. Please keep your catapults and bring them with you if you come to one of our live sessions in December to talk with us about it.
And then keep track of all the adjustments that you made and let us know what works the best.
We hope you had fun.